Sit comfortably in your chair. Give you guys time to get there. Make sure that you're not leaning back in your chair, but instead you're using your torso and the muscles of the torso to hold you up. Very good. All right. So you're looking down and you're checking out your toes. And if there were that imaginary line going across your toes, one foot is not further in front of the other foot. Okay. You're going to be nice and level. Very good. Lift the toes up, press the heels down. You should feel the quads and maybe even the hamstrings a little bit start to engage. I want you to keep that action. And then notice what your default is. So your default is one of two things. You're someone who leans forward, like myself, and you're kind of more on the front of the sits bones, or you're someone who typically is in the back of the sits bones and you lean backwards and your chest caves and the shoulders come forward. And so I notice the default, and then you're just going to start to rock a little bit between the front and the back of the sits bones. So it's similar to a cat cow, but just kind of in the low back area. And what you're kind of looking for is, where is my neutral? Right? Where am I not in the front? Where am I not in the back? And even if it feels a little bit different than what you're used to, that's okay. And then go ahead and find that neutral and stay there. Stick it. Good. Press the heels down again and then zip up, lift from the front of the spine all the way up through the chest. Ah, very nice. Feel broadness through the chest. The shoulders come back. Good. The eyes are going to close gently. And we'll begin like I like to begin with 3 sighs. So breathing in through the nose, open your mouth, give a deep sigh through the mouth. Just doing that 3 times, trying to maintain all the alignment that you just went through in the body, even as you sigh. And after taking those sighs, the breath will just start to come in and out through the nose, nice and slow. And you're going to start to just pay attention right now simply to the flow of your breath. Whatever way the breath is naturally coming in and naturally going out. And of course, we remember that just when something starts to begin to become observed, that thing will immediately change just by the simple act of observation. So, paying attention to the breath, putting your attention and awareness on the flow, it will automatically change. And usually, that change is it will become slower and a bit deeper. Good. And then we're going to take just 1 minute here, your eyes closed, and I'm going to have you actually count how many breaths you're taking in that 1 minute span of time. So go ahead and begin right now. And go ahead and stop. That has been 1 minute. So just kind of reference that a little bit later in our class, how many breaths you took in that 1 minute span of time. And then you'll go ahead and let your eyes start to slowly open back up. Very good. So we're going to start with some seated sun salutations, kind of half sun salutations. I'll show it to you really fast, and when we do it together, it's going to be much slower, but your head is down for part of it. So just want you to see it. So just watch me real quick. I'm going to inhale up. I'm going to exhale. I'm going to fold down. I'm going to inhale, take my hands to my shins or my knees, look forward with a flat back. I'm going to exhale, round my back, drop my head. And then I'm going to inhale, come back up, and exhale, take it to the heart. All right, so we'll do that together, but way slower. All righty, so inhale, reach those arms up. Good, exhale, fold forward, let your head drop. As you inhale, look forward with a flat back, hands to the shins. Yes. As you exhale, round the back, drop the head again. And then inhale, bring it all the way back up. Beautiful. Exhale, take it to the heart. Good. We're going to do a couple of those. If I'm going at a different pace than you need to go, then go with your pace. Inhale, reach. Good. Exhale, fold, drop the head. Inhale, flat back, looking forward. Exhale, fold, drop the head. Inhale, rise and shine. Reach it all the way up above the head. Good. Exhale, take it to the heart. Beautiful. Go ahead and do a few more inhales you reach. Exhale as you fold. Let that head drop. As you inhale, halfway lift. Good. As you exhale, fold. Inhale, rise and shine. Arms up. And exhale, take it to the heart. Beautiful. We're going to do one more. Inhale, reach. Good. Exhale, forward fold. Let the head drop. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise and shine. Arms above the head. Good. Exhale, take it to the heart, and we will meet with our hands at heart, eyes closed. Take your time getting there. No rush. Good. Go ahead and take the base of your thumbs, press it into your sternum. Start to lift your sternum just a little bit, the breastbone there. And take a few deep breaths. Feel like you're breathing in and out through the heart space. Very nice. Go ahead and release your hands down onto your knees. Let those eyes open. And we're going to start to do a barrel roll. Okay, so I want you to make sure you know which direction you're doing the barrel roll in right now. You going to the right? Are you going to the left? Because we're actually going to do a couple of things before we go the other direction. All right, and you can get your neck involved in this. Let the head kind of roll around a little bit. Beautiful. Let's do one more. One more circle. And then we will meet back in center. Awesome. All right, take those arms out like a T. Okay, so as you exhale, you're going to take your right arm, you're going to reach it across the body, touch your left arm. As you inhale, you're going to slide it across the chest, open back up. All right, so your breath, your pace. Exhale, as you bring it across the body, you're getting a little stretch in the back. And then as you inhale, you open and extend through the fingertips. Good. Beautiful. Yes, good. Awesome. We're going to do one more on the right side. And then, of course, we're going to switch. So as you exhale, left arm comes across the body. Inhale, open up and reach. Right. So really focus on as you're inhaling, reaching out through those fingertips, through the left fingertips. You get a nice stretch in the inner arm. Good. Last one. And then release those arms down. So you remembered which direction you were going on the barrel roll. Okay, now I want you to go the other direction. So, other way. And again, if you want to, you can get your neck involved if it doesn't make you dizzy. And that can just give you a little extra stretch in your neck, which can be nice. Good. All righty, bring it on back to center. Lovely, lovely. All right, yes. So we're going to do a couple twists now. Dynamic. Again, do it with your breath. So as you inhale, you're going to come up with the arms in the center. As you exhale, pick a side. You're going to twist. As you inhale, you're just bringing it back to center. As you exhale, you're going to the other side, twisting. So it's dynamic, meaning it's continuous movement, movement with breath. Next time you come into a twist, I want you just to hold that twist. You'll exhale and then you'll stay there. Keep breathing. Let the shoulders relax. Good. Inhale, bring it all the way back up to center. And exhale, other side. We're going to stay here for a moment. Let the shoulders relax and breathe. Good. Inhale, bring it back to center. Arms reach. And exhale, release the hands down. Very nice. All right. So bring your feet like maybe just a little bit wider than your chair. Not super wide. We're doing a wide leg child's pose is all. And then you're going to come in, and actually I want to show this to you probably sideways. It'll be easier so you can understand what I'm talking about with the back. So a lot of times I'll tell you to fold forward and keep your chest up, but this is essentially a child's pose. So what I actually want you to do is to round your back like so, let your head drop, and you can just kind of rest your elbows on your thighs. And you're going to stay here and breathe. Now, if you find that you want to go a little bit deeper and it's okay for you to rest your torso and your chest on your thighs, okay, you are welcome to do that. So you're welcome to bring it down a little bit and kind of let your shoulders rest on your legs. And with the knees wider, your chest does kind of come through the legs a bit. So that is an option. But it's okay to let the back round. If you have a lot of low back pain, then try to pull your belly button back towards the spine a bit. And then as you maintain that, breathe in and out into the low back. Awesome. Regardless of what position you're in, you're going to start to walk yourself all the way back up. Ah, good. So I want you to keep your knees a little bit wider here than hips distance. And unlike the barrel rolls where we're moving our ribs, we're going to make kind of like these big circles. You can get your arms involved if you want. Kind of like just very, very free, freedom of expression. Good. Sometimes I call this painting the aura, like you're painting your energy field with your fingertips. Good. We're going to do one more this direction. And then we're going to reverse that direction, go the other way. All right, one more circle this direction. And then we'll kind of meet back in the center. Good. Let's take some shoulder rolls. I know all that circling can be a lot, be a doozy, as they say. Roll the shoulders forward. I actually watched a video the other day. I think it was on YouTube or something. It was one of those short videos. And it was about where all these sayings are, where they come from. Good, roll the shoulders back again. And it was so neat to hear it. Like, don't throw the baby out with the bath or whatever. Like all these old things, like where they actually came from. It was really neat. So if you ever have some downtime and you want to do something cool to learn about why we say all these weird things that we say, check it out. It's very, very cool. All right. So little side angle. Okay. So your right leg is going to stay out in front of your hip. Your left leg is going to come out to the side as much as it comes. Okay. Right. If we've got some hip mobility issues, then your leg is closer in. It's fine. Don't worry about it. So your left arm is going to come onto your thigh and you're just going to reach your right shoulder back. And maybe your right arm reaches towards the opposite wall. Maybe you want a little bit more stretch and you can reach your arm up towards the ceiling. Okay. If you want even more stretch, then you can bring your bicep near your ear and reach the arm up over the head. So this is like a seated side angle pose. And take some big breaths. It's a big stretch. A stretch for the side of the body, the side of the back, the ribs, the chest. Beautiful. Bring it back up. And we're just going to do that on the other side. So left leg's out in front, right leg's out to the side. Perfect. Remember, one side's going to be different than the other. Human nature. All right. So right arm comes onto the thigh. So you want to start by rolling that left shoulder back. Okay. That really opens up the torso. Then you can reach that left arm towards the wall. You can lift it up towards the ceiling. You can bring it up over the head, bicep by the ear. Good. And you're just going to stay here and you're going to breathe. Okay. So I see there's a lot of leaning forward with this left arm and that left shoulder. Keep trying to pull it back. Yes. Woo. Good. Mary, that was a great adjustment. And breathe. Fabulous. Bring it on up. Very good. And bring your legs back to center. So we will stand up now, grab some water, and we'll get into our standing sun salutations. Take another step. I'm talking a lot. All righty. So you want to have the seat of the chair facing your body, and you are going to stand with your feet hip distance apart. And we're just going to do a quick Tadasana, quick mountain pose for standing for proper posture. If you noticed what your default was sitting, a lot of times you have the same default standing, right? So I mentioned myself, I lean forward when I sit. I also do the same thing when I'm standing. My knees are locked, my weight is in the balls of my feet, and I lean forward. And I don't want to do that. It's not good for my body. So if you are someone who does that, you're going to bend your knees, put a little micro bend in the knees, press the heels down, lift the toes, and let your weight shift back. So as the toes lift, the weight shifts back, you're going to feel more centered, right? Tailbone's going to pull down, my belly is going to pull in, I'm going to lift up through my chest. If you are somebody who is typically on the back side, and your back is rounded, your chest is more collapsed, and shoulders are forward, your knees are probably pretty bent already. So I want you to push down into your feet, make your legs strong, right? Push down into the feet and then let all of this kind of lift up and open and expand. Beautiful. Very good. So belly's in, shoulders back. And just close your eyes for a moment. Notice how this feels, right? To be a little bit more balanced. I could literally talk to you for at least 30 minutes about this pose and all the different things your body can do, should do to get into that proper alignment. And when you're there, it feels really nice. A lot of pain goes away. Very nice. All right. So open your eyes. Try to keep everything the same. Inhale, reach your arms up. Stay here. And reach to the fingertips, press down through the feet. Legs are super duper strong. All right. Go ahead in your mind's eye, find your hip crease, right? Where the thigh and the hip meet. As you exhale, move from that hip crease, come into a forward fold. So you hinge from the crease. Beautiful. If you get into your forward fold and it feels intense on the back of your legs, bend your knees a little. Hands are on the chair. Good. All right. Bend your right knee, lift that left arm, come into a twist. Always remember your modification is to put your hand on your hip. That's fine. Beautiful. Bring it back to center. Go to the other side. Left knee bends. Right arm's going to lift. Twist. Awesome. Bring it back to center. And then walk yourself back into downward facing dog, Adho Mukha. Okay, so check your feet out. Right, one foot's not in front of the other. Toes are pointing forward. If you know that your back is really rounded, right, I want you to bend your knees and work on lifting your tailbone, straighten your back. Once the back is straight, then you can work on straightening your legs. All right, warrior one, right side. Right foot's coming forward. Left heel's going to come down. Bend your right knee. You can keep your hands on the chair. You can take your hands to your hips. If you want a little bit more, you can reach your arms out to the side, or you can come into the full expression of the pose with the arms up in the air. Good, very nice. So regardless of where you are, if your hands are up, if your hands are on your hips, doesn't matter. Push your left leg back. Lift through your chest. Awesome. And go ahead and bring it back into downward facing dog again. So that right foot's going to come back. You're in your down dog. Lovely. Just stay here a moment. Again, if it's intense on the back of the legs and down dog, bend your knees a little. It's okay to do that. All right. Warrior one, left side. Left leg's coming forward. Make sure that right heel's on the floor. Bend your left knee. Determine where you want your arms, hips out to the side, up in the air. Good. And then again, really push through the right leg. That right leg pushes back, 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 back. Awesome. Go ahead and take those hands down, come into a forward fold. So left foot comes back, right foot comes forward. You can stay here if you want to take a chair pose, you can. Weight goes into the heels and the hips shift back. Then you bend the knees, drop the hips, and reach the arms forward. Chair pose. Chair pose is too intense, then you stay in your forward fold. Awesome. Inhale, reach it on up. And exhale to the heart. Good. We're going to do it again. We're going to add on. Inhale and reach. Exhale, fold from that hip crease. Take your hands to the chair. Good. Bend the right knee, lift the left arm, twist. Great. Switch sides. Bend the left knee, lift the right arm, twist. And bring it back to center. Walk it back. Down dog, downward facing dog. Adho Mukha. All right, bring your feet just a tiny bit wider than hips distance here. Not super wide, not as wide as your mat. And you're just going to walk your dog out. So that means you're going to bend your right knee, straighten your left leg. And you're going to bend your left knee, straighten your right leg. I'm just going to go back and forth. And you do this pretty slow. You can feel a pretty good stretch in that straight leg, all the way up the side of the body. Good. All right. Bring it forward. Warrior one pose. Same thing as before. Okay. If you want this warrior one to be harder, if it was easy for you the first time, step your left foot back a little bit. And that gives you the freedom to bend your right knee a little bit deeper. So as long as you can still see your right big toe. And then again, hands wherever you want them to go. Good. Very nice. So press back through that left leg. And right, so adjustment I would give you if I were in person is I would come next to you. I would take my hands on the side of your ribs and I would pull up. Okay, I would pull the ribs up. So see if you can almost like kind of shimmy your ribs away from your hips and find a little extra length in the waist and in the side body here. Good. And bring it back to down dog just so we can switch sides. So take it to down dog. Take maybe one or two breaths. A sigh if you want. And then the left leg's coming on forward. Warrior one pose on this side. Again, if you want it harder, step your right foot back just a little bit more. And then you bend that left knee. Maybe you bend it a little deeper. Awesome. Very good. Make sure you can see the left big toe. Very important. Right foot pushes back. Right thigh pushes back. And just think about that adjustment again. Like imagine someone's coming next to you and they're taking their hands on the side of your ribs and they're just gently lifting up. They're lifting the rib cage away from the pelvis. So you find that length in the torso. The way I kind of do that is I literally just kind of like shimmy my waist up a little bit. Not a huge movement. You don't grow an inch, right? But you just find a little bit of extra length. Great. All right. Take those hands down, bring it into your forward fold. And we're going to stay here for a moment. So our balance is actually going to be kind of from this forward fold. So bring your right foot behind you. Your toes are on the floor. So this is your first option. You can stay right here, okay, and keep your right foot down. That's fine. If you want a little more, then you're lifting that right leg up into the air, okay? If you want to go a little harder with balance, and you can do this if your foot is on the floor also, okay? You can reach your left arm out to the side like an airplane. So if your right leg is lifted, your left arm is what is going to reach out to the side. And again, if your toes are on the floor, you can still do the arm part, or you can choose not to. Right? You do you, boo. Good. Bring it back down. We're going to do that on the other side. So the left leg comes back. You can keep your toes down. You can lift the left leg up. Good. If you want a little challenge on balance, reach the right arm out to the side. Again, you can do this whether your left toes are on the floor or up in the air. Breathe. Good. Bring yourself back down to center. Come into a forward fold. If you want to take that chair pose, here's your option. Bring it on down. Reach the arms out in front. If you're in chair, pretend you're squeezing that imaginary block right in between those thighs. Good. Everybody inhale, rise and shine. And exhale, take it to the heart. Beautiful. All right, inhale, reach. We're not doing a whole nother sun salutation, but a little side body stretch. You're going to grab your left wrist with your right hand and just reach over to the right side. It's called standing half moon. You're making kind of like a crescent shape with your body. Good. Bring it back up, in theory at least. And exhale, bring it to the other side. Awesome. All the way back up. Release those arms. I want to get a pigeon pose in. So let's do 90-second pigeon on each side. So you'll have a seat. Grab some water if you like. And then we will go do our breathing technique that we're working on. Great. All right. So I always like to start on the right ankle over the left knee. Remember, if this is super hard, just put your foot on top of like an ottoman or another chair in front of you, and that's fine. But flex your foot, keep your chest nice and high. We'll be here 90 seconds, so you have time, right, to move into it. If you want to stay lifted the whole time, you can. You want to start to hinge from that hip crease. I know we talked about it very briefly today, but if you're going to move forward, move from that hip crease. Think of chest coming over the shins, and you start to increase that stretch. Yeah, very nice. Very good. And I'm keeping track of time, so you don't worry about that. But this is where we start to slow down a bit. So maybe working on breathing a little deeper and a little slower than you were before. 30 seconds left. Lovely. Bring yourself back up. Very nice. Release that leg, straighten it if you need to, and then we'll go over to the other side. Right? So always remembering one side's usually vastly different than the other, especially when it comes to our hips, it seems like. Good. So you're going to flex your foot. Same thing. Chest stays high, even if you lean forward. So you don't want to lean forward like when I was showing you that child's pose and our back was super rounded. It takes the stretch away. You want to keep that chest up, hinge from that hip crease. Right. So the only thing that's moving is essentially this fulcrum right here, this pivot point. Nice slow breath. So good to see your faces today. I'm just so happy to see you guys. I really am. I really am. It's awesome. Yeah, right? We got good energy, all of us. About 30, 35 more seconds. I'll be honest, 35 more seconds. Good. And release out of that. I think I could live in that pose. All right. So go lay down or sit down. Mary, I don't know if I was doing this, and I think I was, but it's been a long time since I've seen you. I want you just to go somewhere where you can be super comfortable and not have to hold yourself up. You can relax, you can fall asleep. Many people do, and it's all good. You can go to bed, you can go to your special chair, your couch. You can cover up if you know that you get cold. And so, if you know that you have any low back discomfort, put a little support underneath your knees. If you know you get cold, put a blanket on. Good. Yep. And make sure your neck is comfortable. You feel like your head is supported. And give yourself the permission to get adjusted, right? Move around as you need to. Once you get adjusted and comfortable where you can stay and rest, you're going to start with those 3 cleansing breaths, just like we did in the beginning of our session. So 3 times breathing in through the nose, open the mouth and just sigh it out. That exhale, that sigh can be such a beautiful release. After you've taken those 3 sighs, you'll let the breath come back, just going in and out through the nose. And I say that, but I also say if at any point you feel like you want to take a sigh, if you've got something to let go of, like, do it. Take the sigh. And you're going to notice right now just simply where's your breath flowing? What part of the torso is moving as you inhale and as you exhale? And what typically tends to happen is unless we are really paying attention to the quality of our breath tends to be pretty shallow. It tends to be pretty short. And a lot of times the diaphragm isn't really involved in the process of breathing, and it is literally our breathing muscle. And so, a way to help us get tapped in to that diaphragmatic muscle is to also start to involve the pelvic floor with our breath. So, when you inhale, you're going to start breathing deeper. You're going to start to try to breathe into the spaces that are not moving with your breath. So if you find that the upper chest is moving, but the lower ribs are not, breathe into both. Breathe into the low back, into the shoulder blades. Breathe into the side of the waist. Breathe into the side of the chest. And that's not to say that all of a sudden you're going to say, okay, I'm going to breathe into all areas at once and it's just going to happen. It takes time. But you start to work on opening up those other spaces, the back, the sides, top, the bottom. And also keep that awareness of the diaphragm that when you're breathing in, your diaphragm actually drops away from the ribs down into the abdomen, right? Because it's creating space for the lungs to open and to expand, to bring in this air. So either feel that, imagine that, however it works for you. Sense that action happening on that inhalation. And as you're doing that, also feel the pelvic floor relax, feel the pelvic floor open. And then we start to play a bit with the exhalation as well as the inhale. So on the exhale, for this technique at least, you're going to start from the bottom, from that pelvic floor space, and you're going to squeeze it. You're going to squeeze the whole pelvic floor. You're going to pull the abdominals in, making that diaphragm rise back to the bottom of the rib cage. You're going to squeeze in through the rib cage itself. And then when you inhale again, you're just going to relax. This vacuum of air comes in. So it's as if you're inhaling. Think of filling from the top down to the bottom. Let that pelvic floor open. Let the diaphragm drop, pelvic floor opens towards the end of that inhale. And then the exhale occurs again, and you squeeze from the bottom and you squeeze all the way up to the top. And you repeat that. Right? So the exhalation for this technique is all about squeezing it out. The inhalation is all about opening and softening, relaxing. Yeah, so if you can picture your rib cage, your spine, your sternum, right? The bones that go around that are attached to each, aside from the floating ribs. There are muscles in between each rib called an intercostal muscle. That muscle has to squeeze, has to contract to bring the ribs back in to push the air out of the lungs. And then the diaphragm has to lift to push the air out of the lungs. Right? The lungs aren't muscles, they're not squeezing air out. So you're just drawing in, using the muscles, and that helps you get rid of all the stuff that you want out. And you let it go with the breath. And then that relaxation happens with all those muscles, and the diaphragm, the pelvic floor opens, and the inhalation, and you just pour this life giving oxygen that you need for your red blood cells, that you need for all parts of your body to function, to be strong. So keep doing this. And I'm in a moment going to ask you, as you're doing this technique, to count how many breaths you're taking in a minute. Begin now, just counting how many breaths you take in this 1 minute span of time. And that has been 1 minute. And then at this time, you have your freedom of choice, the choice to stay, to rest and relax, to perhaps take a nap, perhaps work on this technique or a different technique um, that you know and you want to practice. Or you have that option to start to return back and come back into your day, into your space. And if you do that, you'll start to move around in any way that feels comfortable for you, fingers, toes, whatever. Eventually returning back to your space. And I will end our session for everybody, but I'm so grateful to see each and every one of you. Thank you so much for coming. I hope that you got some benefit, that you feel good, perhaps better than you were when you came. So that's always the goal. I love you guys. It's so good to see you guys. Peaceful thoughts, peaceful words, peaceful intentions. Namaste. Mwah. Bye, everybody.